The rescue. The battlefield was silent except for the faint crackle of fire. Sergeant Daniel Hale lay half buried under broken metal and dirt, his breath shallow, his armor torn apart, one leg twisted at the wrong angle. He could barely move. His eyes blinked against the smoke, the smell of blood and burned fuel filling his lungs. He knew this was the end. The alien enemy had already swept through the area, their machines leaving nothing alive. His unit was gone, his radio broken, and no human ship was coming back for him. Earth was too far away. The stars above looked cold and uncaring. Daniel gritted his teeth. He had always told himself he was ready to die, but now, lying in the dirt, he felt something strange, a sharp sting of anger. He was not ready to go like this, alone, forgotten. Then a shadow moved, his hand twitched toward his broken rifle, but he could not even lift it. His vision blurred, but he saw them, tall figures with pale skin and long cloaks, their eyes glowing, faint blue in the smoke. He had seen them before in reports, a minor alien species called the Zirathi, weak and often bullied by stronger empires. They were not fighters. They had no reason to be here. Daniel blinked hard, thinking it was a trick. Of the Zirathi knelt beside him, their hand hovering above his chest. A soft hum filled the air, and Daniel felt warmth spreading through his broken body. The pain dulled, his breathing eased. "Stay still, human," the alien whispered, voice calm but firm. "We will take you." Daniel's mind screamed, why? Why would they risk themselves for him? For one broken soldier? Through the haze, he caught sight of movement. The Zirathi were not alone. A small group had come, carrying strange healing tools and cloth packs. They worked quickly, lifting metal debris off him with machines that hummed like insects. His broken leg was wrapped, his wounds sealed with glowing gel. Fear rushed into him. He wanted to push them away. He had been told again and again, no alien helps without a price. But he had no strength left. His body betrayed him. And he went. Limp above, the sound of engines roared. Enemy patrol ships were circling back, searching for survivors to finish. The Zirathi leader glanced upward, their face pale with dread. Yet they did not stop. With a sharp gesture, they ordered the others to carry Daniel. His weight was heavy, but 4 of them lifted him, struggling. Against the rough ground, Daniel's head lolled. But he heard the words they repeated in their own tongue. He could not understand, but the tone was desperate, urgent. They were not just saving him. They were defying someone. Blaster fire cracked in the distance. A patrol spotted them. Energy bolts scorched the ground near Daniel's head. The Zirathi did not run. Instead, they formed a shield wall around him. Holding small crystal-like weapons that shimmered weakly against the heavy fire, Daniel tried to shout, "Leave me." But only blood came from his mouth. One of the Zirathi was struck down, falling hard beside him. Another screamed but held the line. Daniel's blurred eyes saw them fight with a fire he never expected, not for their own survival, but for him. Moments stretched like eternity. Then, thunder from the sky. A massive shape descended, a Zirathi transport ship, battered and small compared to human vessels, but fast. Its hatch opened, ropes thrown down. The aliens hauled Daniel aboard, their hands trembling, their breath heavy. Inside, the ship was dim and smelled of herbs and metal. They laid him on a glowing table. More gel poured into his wounds. His vision cleared slightly, enough to see the leader standing over him, face marked with fear yet shining with resolve. "You live now," the alien said, voice breaking. "Because we chose." Daniel stared at them, words dying in his throat. For the first time since the war began, an alien had not looked at him with hatred or fear, but with courage. The engines roared. The ship climbed fast. Enemy fire chased them, striking against shields that groaned and sparked. The Zirathi pilot shouted something, the ship shaking violently, but it held together. Daniel closed his eyes, his mind burning with questions. What debt had they just taken upon themselves? What price would Earth pay for this rescue? His last thought before darkness claimed him was chilling. No one saves a human for free, but the Zirathi had done it anyway. And because of that choice, the galaxy would never be the same. The message reaches Earth. The transmission began with static deep. Inside Earth's military command center, officers leaned over glowing screens trying to catch the faint signal. It came from a distant sector, far beyond the patrol routes. No one expected anything. After all, Sergeant Daniel Hale had been marked missing in action weeks ago. Then the words came through, broken but clear enough to freeze the entire room. "Your soldier lives. We saved him." The voice was alien, calm yet strained. The officers exchanged looks of disbelief. This had to be a trick. No alien risked themselves to save a human. Not in this galaxy. General Carter slammed a fist on the table, his face hard. "Play it again," he ordered. The message repeated. The same alien voice. The same impossible claim. At first, no one wanted to believe. The galaxy was full of traps, and Earth had suffered betrayal before. Dozens of soldiers had been lured into ambushes by false promises, but then another signal cut through a second transmission. This time a human voice rasped across the channel, weak but unmistakable. "This is Sergeant Daniel Hale. I'm alive. They saved me." The room went dead silent. Every officer recognized the tone of a man at death's edge. There was no way to fake that kind of pain or that kind of relief. One younger officer whispered, "It's him. It's really him." Carter's jaw tightened, his eyes narrowed. If this was true, then something much larger was happening. Earth had enemies across the stars, but never had any alien shown mercy. "Trace the signal," Carter ordered. His voice cut through the shock. "I want to know exactly where this came from and who these aliens are." Far away, Daniel lay in the Zirathi ship, still half conscious. He felt hands pressing cool gel against his wounds, strange voices speaking softly above him. They were keeping him alive, but it was the tiny beacon strapped to his chest, the emergency locator every human soldier carried, that sent his voice home. Somehow the Zirathi had found it, repaired it, and activated it for him. They had chosen not to hide him, but to reveal him to his people. Why? On Earth, the Council of Nations gathered in a secure chamber. Leaders from every continent sat around the vast table. The message played again, the alien voice, then Daniel's. Shock turned to fierce debate. "They saved one man," a representative argued. "Does that mean we risk war for them?" Or, another interrupted, "Does it mean they are the only ones brave enough to stand with us?" General Carter rose, his voice calm but heavy with meaning. "They saved a human life, knowing it would make them enemies of the Council. They chose us over fear, and that is something we cannot ignore." Meanwhile, the Zirathi ship darted through asteroid fields, chased by enemy patrols. Every jolt shook Daniel awake. He groaned, opening his eyes to see the alien leader staring at him. "You must tell them," the alien said firmly. "Tell your people the Zirathi are not your enemy. Tell them we gave you back." Daniel's throat burned, but he forced the words out. "Why me? Why risk it?" The alien lowered their gaze. "Because no one else would, and if we let you die, then what are we worth?" Back on Earth, the decision was sealed with only a few words. General Carter stood before the Council and declared, "They saved one of ours, so Earth will come for them." The chamber erupted in whispers. Some called it madness, some called it honor, but the order spread quickly. Mobilization alerts, fleet signals, soldiers recalled from leave. Humanity was moving. The galaxy would soon see something it had never seen before. Earth going to war not for revenge, not for conquest, but for loyalty repaid. On the edge of sleep, Daniel heard the hum of the engines. He felt the steady hands of the Zirathi holding him in place. And deep inside, he knew this truth. The moment his voice reached Earth, everything changed. The Zirathi had not just saved one soldier, they had ignited a storm. The Galactic Council's warning. The chamber of the Galactic Council burned with light. 1,000 stars projected across the domed ceiling. Representatives of dozens of species filled the seats, voices rising in anger and fear. At the center, a single hollow played again and again. The message was simple, raw, an alien voice declaring, "We saved a human life," followed by the weak words of Sergeant Daniel Hale. The council was not shocked that the humans survived. No, their fear was deeper. Humans never forgot. If one life was saved, Earth would answer with an army. Counselor Vaynar of the Dract spoke first, his scaled jaw tight. "The Zirathi have broken the balance. They have sided with the humans, and for that, they must pay." Others nodded. Their voices joined. "Yes, punishment, they endanger us all. If Earth comes, it will not stop with rescue. It will mean war." But a few spoke in hesitation. Counselor Renal of the Terevi whispered, "They only saved one. Soldier, is it truly enough to awaken Earth's fleets?" Silence followed her words, then nervous laughter. Everyone in the chamber knew the truth. Humanity was unlike any other race. They had fought alone when the galaxy mocked them. They had fled across forgotten worlds, and now they had a reason to march. On the edge of the chamber, the Zirathi envoy stood trembling, their cloak marked with burns from the battlefield. Their voice shook but did not break. "We did not mean to break your peace. We only saved a life. Is mercy now a crime?" Counselor Vaynar's claws clacked against the table. "When it is a human's life, yes, it is." His eyes burned like fire. "You have doomed yourselves." The chamber erupted again. Threats, shouts, promises of sanctions. The Zirathi envoy stood alone, hated by all sides. Far across the void on Earth's orbital command, news of the Council's reaction reached General Carter. He read the report with a grim smile. "They are afraid," he said quietly. His officers looked at him, unsure. Carter's voice hardened. "And they should be." Daniel, still recovering aboard the Zirathi ship, felt the tension in every face around him. The crew whispered among themselves, voices filled with fear. They knew the Council's wrath would come swiftly. The alien leader, who had never given Daniel a name, finally spoke one night, their voice tired but steady. "We could have left you," they admitted, "but we chose not to. That choice has bound us. The Council will destroy us for it." Daniel stared at them, weak but determined. "Then Earth will protect you." The alien laughed bitterly. "Earth? Against the galaxy?" But Daniel only closed his eyes. "You don't know my people." In the council chamber, the final warning was cast. Counselor Vaynar leaned forward, his voice echoing across the dome. "To the Zirathi, hear us. You have aligned yourselves with Earth. You will cut ties with them immediately, or you will face eradication. The galaxy will not bleed for human loyalty." The message was broadcast across every channel. Every world, every species heard it. The Zirathi had been marked, and the galaxy waited for Earth's reply back on Earth. The broadcast reached the Council of Nations. Leaders stared at the threat glowing across their walls. Some trembled, some shouted, but General Carter only stood tall. "They warned the Zirathi," Carter said, his voice iron. "Now they warn us too." "What will you do?" one leader asked. Carter's gaze turned cold. "I will show them what happens when you threaten humanity and those who stand with us." The order was given, silent and final. Earth's armies began to move. Ships rose from the oceans. Carriers launched from orbital docks. Fleets gathered in the black of space, not in secret, not in silence. Every move was broadcast back to the galaxy. Humanity wanted them to see. Because Earth was not coming quietly. Earth was coming with thunder. Earth's army mobilizes. The order spread like lightning, from silent bunkers under the Rocky Mountains to massive shipyards orbiting Mars. The words repeated on every secure channel. "Mobilize, Earth marches." The docks above Earth glowed like fireflies. Thousands of workers rushed as alarms rang. Huge shadows drifted free from their cradles. Earth supercarriers, giant steel cities that could swallow fleets whole. Their hulls gleamed with fresh armor, their weapons powered up with low, hungry growls. In the oceans below, submarines surfaced, launching pods that roared skyward, transforming into orbital cannons. Soldiers strapped into dropships, their faces lit by red lights, silent, focused, waiting. For the first time in history, Earth was not preparing to defend itself. This was no desperate stand. This was something the galaxy had never seen before. Humanity was preparing to leave its home. Not for conquest, not for survival, but for loyalty. General Carter stood in the war room, watching the fleet reports scroll across the wall-sized screen. He spoke in a low voice, almost to himself. They saved one of ours. Now we come for all of them. An aide turned nervously. Sir, the Council will see this as an act of war. Carter's eyes were hard. It already is. Across the colonies, people rose to the call. Civilians donated supplies. Factories turned from making harvest machines to building war drones. Families said goodbye to sons and daughters boarding shuttles. Their eyes wet with tears, but their hearts steady. Everywhere, the same words were whispered. They saved a human. We repay our debts. In the Zirathi homeworld, fear spread like wildfire. The skies glowed with council ships gathering in orbit. Their threats echoed across every street. Abandon Earth or burn with them. But whispers also moved through the city. Rumors of massive human fleets preparing to arrive. The Zirathi people, long mocked as weak, felt something new stirring in their hearts. Hope, the alien leader who had saved Daniel, stood before their council, cloak torn, voice steady. We will not surrender him. We chose mercy, and we will not betray it. Many feared, some wept, but no one argued. Meanwhile, aboard Earth's supercarrier Resolute Dawn, Captain Mira Reyes looked over her soldiers, rows of armored men and women standing silent. The hum of engines shook the floor. She raised her voice, clear and sharp. Remember why we march, not for conquest, not for glory. We march because someone believed a human life was worth saving. And now we will show the galaxy what that means. The soldiers slammed fists against their armor, the sound like thunder rolling through the carrier. The galaxy watched, horrified, as Earth's fleet took shape, entire battle groups forming in the blackness of space, carriers escorted by destroyers, dreadnoughts bristling with railguns and missile pods, thousands of smaller ships buzzing like a swarm of hornets. Every broadcast carried the same message: Earth was moving, humanity was coming. In the Galactic Council chamber, panic spread. Reports poured in, fleet after fleet leaving Earth's orbit, supply lines stretching across stars. Counselor Vaynar spat with rage. They dare threaten us all over one soldier? Counselor Renal whispered back, her voice shaking. No, not over one soldier. Over the meaning of it. For the first time, even the Council felt a shadow of fear. Far away, Daniel lay recovering aboard the Zirathi vessel, his body healing, but his heart heavy. He saw the fear in the eyes of his rescuers. They whispered of Earth's fleet, of Council punishment, of war that would drown them all. The alien leader looked at him one night, their voice breaking. We saved you to prove mercy still lives in this galaxy, but have we doomed everyone instead? Daniel forced himself up, wincing. His voice was rough but steady. No, you don't understand. When humanity comes, they don't come to destroy, they come to protect. And now, they're coming for you. Above Earth, the last carrier left orbit. Its engines blazed like suns. The fleet stretched across the void, silent but unstoppable. The galaxy had mocked Earth. The Council had warned. But none of it mattered anymore, because Earth was on the march. And when humanity marched, the stars themselves trembled. The arrival, the stars above the Zirathi homeworld shimmered with false calm. Children pointed at the sky as streaks of light burned through the night. At first, people thought it was only the Council's patrol ships. But soon the truth became clear. The lights grew larger, multiplied, stretched into endless lines across the heavens. It was not the Council. It was Earth, from the surface. The sight was terrifying. Shadows swallowed the moons. Great metal giants blocked out the stars. Carriers, dreadnoughts, destroyers, an armada unlike anything the Zirathi had ever seen. Their engines thundered like storms, their weapons glowed. Like suns, panic swept through the streets. Some citizens fell to their knees, fearing the humans had come to conquer. Others stood frozen in awe, whispering, "They came. They really came for us." Inside the Galactic Council warships orbiting nearby, alarms screamed. Admirals of alien empires stared at their sensors, unable to believe the numbers. The humans had not sent a token fleet. They had sent everything. "This is madness," one officer cried. "No race empties its home defenses like this." But General Carter's voice echoed from the lead carrier, carried on open channels for all to hear. "You saved one of ours. Now we stand for all of you. To any who wish to bring harm, stand down." The warning echoed across every starship. Translated into 100 tongues, the council commanders ignored it. Their pride was too great, their fear too deep. "Open fire," Counselor Vaynar snarled. "Erase them before they land." The first salvo came from orbit. Thousands of plasma bolts, rail slugs, and torpedoes streaked through the black, glowing like falling comets. But humanity did not scatter. The fleet shifted as one. Shields locked together. Railguns answered. Missiles lit the void. The council fleet staggered, entire wings shattered in the opening exchange. No one had expected Earth's weapons to be so fast, so precise. On the ground, the Zerathi people watched fire bloom in their skies. For a moment, fear returned. But then the human dropships cut through the smoke, descending like burning meteors. The first landed outside the capital. The doors opened with a hiss, and rows of armored human soldiers marched out. Shields on their arms, weapons glowing. Their boots thundered as one. They did not aim at the Zerathi. Instead, they formed a protective wall, shields locking, facing the heavens where council fire reigned. The Zerathi gasped. Relief spread like a wave. Humanity had not come to conquer. They had come to shield Daniel, carried by his rescuers into the city square, watched in disbelief as Earth's army surrounded them. His heart pounded with pride. His people had come. They had crossed the stars for him. No, for those who saved him. The alien leader at his side whispered, their voice breaking. They truly came. Daniel forced a weak smile. I told you we never forget. Above, the battle grew fiercer. The council threw ship after ship into the fight. But Earth's formations never broke. Every strike was answered. Every ambush crushed. Humanity fought not with rage but with cold, unstoppable precision. The galaxy had always seen Earth as reckless fighters, desperate survivors. But now they saw something else. An army disciplined, united, and merciless when defending what mattered. In the council chamber, light years away, fear rippled across the delegates as reports flooded in. Entire fleets destroyed, orbital stations burning, and still the humans advanced. Counselor Ranel whispered, her voice almost trembling. This is not war, this is judgment. Counselor Vaynar slammed his claws down. No, they will overreach, they cannot hold against all of us. But his words rang hollow. Even he could hear the fear in his own voice. On the Zerathi homeworld, children clutched their parents as human mechs took positions on every street. Towering, giants armed with cannons and shields. Their glowing visors scanned the skies. The humans said little, but their presence spoke louder than words. We will not let them take you. General Carter's voice boomed again across all channels. You threatened them for saving one human. Now look to the skies. Earth has come and we are many. Leave, or be broken. The ultimatum was clear. The skies of the Zerathi homeworld burned. The council faced its first true test. Humanity stood unshaken, and the galaxy held its breath, because everyone knew this was only the beginning, fire across the stars. The first council fleet broke under the pressure. Shattered hulls drifted in orbit, their fires painting the black sky red. But the council was vast, and their pride deeper than reason. Reinforcements poured in from jump gates, colossal warships flashing into reality. Their combined power could erase entire systems, and yet Earth did not retreat. From the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, General Carter stood with hands behind his back, eyes calm. Hold formation, he ordered, his voice steady. Let them come. The human fleet spread like a wall of steel, thousands of ships linked together. Their railguns hummed, missiles armed, shields glowing blue. The council ships opened fire first. A storm of plasma bolts and particle beams roared across space. Thousands of streaks of light filled the void, blazing like an angry sun. The human wall shuddered under the impact, but it did not break. Shield grids absorbed the worst of the storm, and then Earth answered. Railgun slugs ripped through the void, each shot traveling faster than sound could ever dream. Council destroyers, cracked apart in a rain of molten shards, human torpedoes screamed into the gaps, detonating with blinding fury. The galaxy had always thought humans fought like animals, reckless, wild, untamed. But what they saw now was something else entirely. Humans fought like surgeons. Every strike was exact. Every ship moved with precision. Council fleets staggered, their formations breaking. On the ground, the Zirathi people clung to each other as thunder shook their skies. Human soldiers stood firm in the streets, shields raised, eyes locked upward. They did not flinch even as wreckage rained down. Daniel lay in a recovery cot, his chest wrapped in glowing bandages. His body was weak, but his spirit surged. He saw the courage of both his rescuers and his people above. The alien leader who had saved him stood at his side, watching the skies with wide eyes. "They fight for us," they whispered, almost disbelieving. Daniel's lips curved into a faint smile. That's what humans do. But the Council was not finished. From the largest of their warships, a new weapon was unleashed, a super beam that cut through space like a blade. It tore into a human carrier, slicing across its hull. Alarms screamed as the giant vessel began to split apart. The Council cheered across their channels. "See, humanity bleeds." But even as the carrier died, its final act was to fire every missile in its hold. The swarm of warheads slammed into the Council flagship, tearing its armor to shreds. The ship exploded, shaking the stars, one human ship down, 10 Council ships. With it across the galaxy, watchers trembled. The balance of power they had always believed in was collapsing before their eyes. Earth, the so-called weak species, was tearing apart fleets that had ruled the stars for centuries. General Carter's voice thundered across the comms. "Remember why we fight. Not for conquest, not for empire. We fight because they showed mercy when no one else would. And for that, we will fight until the stars themselves go dark." His words surged through every human soldier. Every trigger pulled with purpose. Every defense line held with iron resolve. The Council commanders panicked. Some ships broke formation, retreating into the dark. Others fought on blindly, desperate to prove themselves, but nothing worked. The human fleet cut through them like fire through dry grass, and still, Earth did not aim for the Zirathi cities below. Every strike was upward, outward, only against the Council. Humanity shielded with one hand and struck with the other. On the Zirathi homeworld, the people who had once been mocked as weak stood in their streets staring at the sky. They had never known protection like this, never believed anyone would bleed for them. Hope spread like wildfire. They began to chant in their own tongue, a word that meant ally. And for the first time they shouted it toward the humans. Daniel, weak but alive, whispered as he heard the chants echo outside. "You saved me. And now my people are saving you." The alien leader looked at him, eyes filled with tears. Maybe mercy was not a mistake after all. Above, the battle raged on. Fire painted the stars. Fleets burned, and the galaxy watched in silence. The Council had thrown everything into the fight, but the humans did not fall. Instead, they grew stronger, fiercer, every loss fueling their will. By the time the smoke began to clear, the truth was undeniable. The Council had started this battle, but only humanity would decide how it ended. The debt paid. The battlefield grew quiet. Wreckage drifted through the black sky, burning like fallen stars. Council ships lay broken, their pride shattered, and still Earth's fleet held its formation, shields glowing in the silence. On the Zirathi, homeworld, people poured into the streets, their eyes fixed on the sky. They had expected death, yet they saw survival. They had expected slavery, yet they saw protection. Humanity had done the unthinkable, stood between them and the galaxy. General Carter stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, his face set like stone. The reports were clear. The Council fleet was broken, but not gone. Many had fled, retreating to lick their wounds. An aide asked carefully, "Sir, shall we pursue? Shall we crush them completely?" Carter's eyes narrowed. He thought of the alien voice that had first said we saved him. He thought of Sergeant Daniel Hale, lying alive because strangers chose mercy. His reply was calm, firm, no. We came to repay a debt, not to build an empire. Let them run. Let them remember. The Council's remaining delegates sent frantic transmissions demanding Earth's withdrawal, but Carter answered with a message carried across every channel in the galaxy. You called mercy a crime. You threatened death for saving one of ours. Today you learned the price of that threat. Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not abandon. You saved a human life, and for that, we came with an army. If you wish for war again, remember this day. The words echoed in 100 languages, across colonies, across fleets, across the very halls of the Council. Silence followed, silence heavy with shame. On the ground, human soldiers lowered their shields, their visors dimming. Children approached, them carefully, eyes wide with wonder. One small Zerathi girl touched a soldier's armored glove and whispered in awe, "Protector." For the first time, the Zerathi felt what it meant to stand beside an ally. Not under a master. Daniel Hale, weak but alive, was carried into the city square, his body broken, but his spirit unyielding. The alien leader who had saved him walked at his side. Together they stood before the gathering crowds. Daniel's voice cracked but carried. You saved me when no one else would, and my people have answered. This is what humanity is. We repay what is given. Mercy for mercy, life for life. The Zerathi leader turned to the crowd, their voice steady. We feared we had doomed ourselves, but instead, we found allies. The people roared, a sound that rose like thunder echoing into the night sky. Back aboard the Resolute Dawn, Carter received the final report. The Zerathi world was safe. Humanity had proven its promise. He stood, alone for a moment, staring at the burning horizon beyond the viewport. His whisper was quiet, but it carried weight. They saved one of ours, so we saved all of them. Across the galaxy, the story spread like wildfire. Alien races who had mocked humanity now whispered with respect and fear. Some called them dangerous, others called them saviors. But all agreed on one thing. When Earth made a promise, Earth kept it. The Council had been silenced. The galaxy had been reminded, and a new alliance had been forged in fire. On the Zerathi homeworld, as dawn broke, Daniel sat on a balcony with the alien leader, watching the first human aid ships land. They brought supplies, medicine, and engineers, not conquerors but helpers. The alien leader's voice was soft. We risked everything to save one man, and we found something greater, humanity itself. Daniel smiled faintly, his scars aching. That's the thing about my people. We may fight, we may bleed, but when you show us mercy, we never forget. The stars glittered above, the wreckage slowly fading into the void. The war was over, but its lesson would never be forgotten. The Zerathi had saved one human life, and in return, Earth had saved an entire world.